Hello, guys. Hello, Mrs. Penn.
Hi, I'm here.
Hello, Mr. Keeling.
Yeah, hi.
Now, this week, Mrs. Penn, you have turned into a piece of paper. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I've managed to get a special thing that will hold the surface above what I'm doing so that the children can see it properly.
Exciting. Super exciting. And what is it that we are learning today, Mrs. Penn?
Right, today we're going to do a very basic landscape.
Landscape? Oh, I thought we were drawing bunny rabbits.
Oh,
No.
Mr. Keeling.
Now, this landscape means that I have my piece of paper, landscape.
Yeah. Landscape, okay. So that means straight up, right, like that.
Mr. Keeling.
Is he doing it wrong?
He's doing it wrong. He thinks a landscape is a portrait. That's portrait. That's how we would draw somebody's body or face, I think.
Or silhouette.
Yeah,
huh?
Or silhouette.
Right.
Yes, or silhouette. But a landscape, think of it like the horizon. When you view it, it's sort of wider than it is tall, isn't it? Oh, that's beautiful, Mr. Keeling. You've done a great job there. Well done.
Thank you, Mr. Jordan.
That's exactly right. I'll give you an example here.
Brilliant.
Okay, here we have portrait.
Yeah.
Here we have landscape.
Excellent.
Okay. Now, if I want to draw a portrait of somebody, obviously, put it in here.
And I guess because your face is longer than it is wide, that makes sense.
Well, that's right. So it fits the whole of the piece of paper. But if I do a portrait here.
Yeah, that's it.
And you can just change this just by turning the page on its side.
Exactly. See, I've got loads of space wasted there. So I don't want to do that. And that's why a landscape is better because, as Mr. Jordan said, you've got more to draw in a landscape. Okay.
Beautiful. We're ready now, miss.
Yes, I've got my paper the right way.
Now, I know that children in year 4 will have done landscapes with me quite a lot. And because we did it when we linked it to our geography work.
Mm-hmm.
And they went out to the hostel and we looked at, they looked at things like rural landscapes. And then we also looked at urban landscapes.
So do you have to actually be looking at a landscape to be able to do this, Mrs. Penn? Or could you have a picture of it on the computer, perhaps, or maybe just imagination?
You could do any of those things. Obviously, I'm just using my imagination today because I don't have a landscape in front of me, but you could do it there where you can see something, or you could do it, from a picture, from the computer, anything really.
The future.
Okay, so first thing to put on when you're drawing a landscape is decide where you want your horizon to be.
Right.
Now, traditionally, people tend to put it about halfway down the page, but it depends what kind of effect you want. So I'm gonna put it halfway down the page just for today, and I'm gonna make it look like a rural landscape, which will mean that it's actually the countryside, not a city. And, sorry?
It'll be undulating.
Yeah, it can be undulating. So you can do whatever you like, but I'm going to do it really basic for you here. And I'm drawing one line that tails off there.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm going to put another line just here and brings it up there.
Ooh, okie dokie.
So already here, this is going to be my sky. And this is going to be where it sort of disappears into the distance. Now, the next line is going to come in from here and disappear off there.
Okay.
And the last line will come in here and disappear off there. Have you guys got that?
That last line, did that start from the very edge of your piece of paper?
Yes, I have, yes.
Lovely.
Okay.
Okay, now, what we could do is do something really simple with perspective here, which will create the idea of distance in our drawing. If you make something look smaller in the background here, because this is our background, and then getting bigger towards the foreground, that gives the illusion of perspective and distance.
And that's because they build bigger things closer to you, don't they? And for some reason, as they build further away, buildings, they build them really small so you can't even fit in them. That's correct, right?
To save money, isn't it?
No, that's totally not right, Mr. Keeling.
Right.
It's because the things that are further away are so much further away that they look smaller. They appear to look smaller.
Oh, I see.
So Mr. Keeling's head isn't actually this big, because when I close one eye and look at his head, it looks that big. Is your head bigger than that?
Well, I don't think so, Mr. Jordan, because when I hold my fingers up in front of my face like this, even on the camera, look.
Oh yeah, your head is actually that small.
I can fit it inside of my fingers.
That's such a small head.
Exactly. So, but then again, that might be that thing called perspective.
Ooh.
I've just got a couple of shells here. Okay, you can see those two shells. That one's a bit broken.
Yeah.
They're about the same size, aren't they?
Yes, I would say so.
Right, if I
No way you're going to make one of those bigger, Mrs. Penn. No way. Oh.
Is it bigger now?
It's gone away from the camera.
It's gone now, Miss Penn.
Is it?
Oh, there it is.
Oh, that shell is definitely bigger than the one on the page.
Yeah, because you're holding a bigger one.
No.
Oh.
No way.
It gets smaller as it moves away.
There you go.
Didn't realise that.
Okay, right, get rid of the shells.
Okay.
Right, here we go. Shall we put a road in?
Yes.
Right, okay, so I'm going to start with a road here. And I'm just going to make it quite faint. So I'm not pressing hard with my pencil. I'm going to do it faintly. And I'm going to make it come here. And I'm going to make it very thin.
Okay.
Right, now what you have to imagine is that road, if you were travelling on it now, you'd be going down a dip and then coming up the side of this hill here. And then maybe the road would appear here.
Okay, because I can't see the other side of the hill, can I? So I don't... Right,
No,
I got
you can't see that because you're not there. And look what I'm doing. I'm making it look slightly wider as it comes towards me.
Ah.
Right, now, you imagine you're travelling on this road now. You're going down into the very dip. And you're coming up the other side of this hill. And then you're going to come over the top. And same thing again, make it a bit wider, getting even wider.
Got it. Wow.
Right, now, the last hill, it's going to be at its widest, so I'm going to make it look really wide, coming off the page. Like that.
I love it.
And again, to point it out, that is not that the road is actually getting bigger, but that again is perspective, correct?
That's perspective, exactly. It's the distance between this point and this point.
Brilliant. Okay, I've got my
Right.
road.
Now, what we can do now, we could start adding some different bits to this. We might want to, for example, have a little bit of a white line, or I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a tiny bit of shading as it goes down the hill there, lightly.
Okay.
Can you see what I've done?
Yeah, so it's dark and nearer where the top of the hill kind of thing.
At the bottom of the hill.
Bottom of the hill,
It's
sorry,
actually
yeah.
where it's going down.
I see.
And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one.
Is this the shadow of the hill in front of it?
I've decided in my head that the sun is up here. So the sun is shining on the top of these hills.
I see.
But not at the bottom.
Makes sense.
And the same with this one here. So a bit of shading. If you want to use the side of your pencil to get that shading.
I don't need to have a special like art pen to do this, do I?
Not really, no. I mean, I've got one of the ones that we use at school here.
I've always got standard pencil.
I'm doing pen.
Oh, you're using a pen. There you go.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, you can use what you like, really.
It's harder to shade in pen, though.
Is it?
Yeah, it is, because you can't really go darker and lighter with a pen. But you can with a pencil.
I mean, I suppose if you changed pen colours.
Yeah.
Well, as you get more into art, you can use colour to try and create perspective as well. But you have to be... I think we need to do this bit first.
Definitely. Don't overload us.
Now, that last bit of road, I'm just going to put a little bit of shading on it.
Oh, every time you do everything, it just looks better straight away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing with this bit is I'm making it look a bit sort of rough.
All right. I've put lines on my road. Is that okay?
You can do whatever you like.
Yay. All right.
Now, let's make a joint decision now. What else would we like to have on our landscape?
Birds.
Birds.
Trees.
Trees.
And birds.
Okay.
Birds in trees.
Ooh, birds in trees.
I think birds in trees might be a bit difficult, because if you imagine over there, you're not going to see a bird in a tree. How big is that tree going to be over there?
Smaller.
It's going to be smaller, isn't it? So if you imagine like a fir tree.
Yeah. A tree made of fur?
No, fir. Now, look, I've just done that, and that is much too big, and I haven't even got a rubber.
I got a rubber.
Right. I will just ignore that. Okay, so look, if we make it this big, just like a little triangle there.
Is the fir tree a bit like a Christmas tree, miss?
Yeah, very like a Christmas tree. And I'm going to put a couple of them here. They don't all have to be the same size. You can make some a bit taller. Now, ignore that mistake. And if I can find a rubber, I'll rub it out.
Yeah.
And don't make them look too much like a line either. Has it like, you know, like a line of trees. Try and get a little bit of space in between them, because that'll make them look a little bit more realistic. Right, so we've got a little bunch of trees there. I'm going to imagine now that there's a fence here.
Oh,
I'm just going to draw a really faint line of where that would be a field. Now, over on this hill, I could have a few little trees here as well. These, I'm going to make these really small because they're even further away. You've gone very quiet.
Well, it's concentrating, I think.
Oh, right. Right, I'm going to put some trees on this hill, but obviously they're going to be bigger or smaller. What do you reckon?
Wait, which hill? That one? That seems a bit closer.
So does that mean the trees are going to be bigger or smaller as they get closer to me?
Well, let me just test, Mrs. Penn. If I hold my
Remember the
finger
shells.
this way, it's quite small, but when I bring it towards me, it gets bigger. So because the trees are coming towards me, I'm going to say bigger.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Ah. And that's amazing you worked that out, because your hands are tiny anyway.
Deductive reasoning.
Ah. Really good.
Right, so here we go. Some bigger trees over here. Not too much bigger, though. You don't want to make them look ridiculously big. But they've definitely got to be bigger than those other ones that we just drew.
Brilliant. If anyone's struggling, they can pause, can't they, just to catch up?
Oh, yeah.
I think at the pace we're going, it should be all right.
I'm going to have one in the middle there.
I was going to say, they don't all have to be over the top of the hill, do they?
No, you could have some coming down the side. But obviously, if you want some coming down the side, you'd have to put the ones at the front first.
Right. Oh, gosh.
Because otherwise, you'll have what it will look like spots with trees. I'll show you what I mean on this one here. I'm going to move over here now. Right, if I have a tree here, and this one's going to be even bigger because it's now getting really close.
Oh, my gosh.
Scribbling it on really gives the effect of a tree. There's some bits sticking out. Trees aren't perfect. So then I've got to think, right, okay, so there's going to be trees behind this one. Now, what I'm doing here is quite crafty, actually, because I'm leaving a little bit of a white space in between the trees there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit crafty, I know, but what it does is it helps you to separate the trees, but still get the sense that they're all bunched together. It's a trick.
Like it.
Now, Bob Ross, he would say that these are happy little trees. Do trees that we draw always have to be happy trees?
No, you can make yours miserable if you like, Mr. Keeling.
Or scary trees?
Or scary, yeah.
Like claws?
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, so they've definitely got bigger there. Now, do you feel like there's beginning to be a sense of distance in your picture?
I would say
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so now what we could do now, we could put something else on this landscape.
Mm.
What about electricity pylons?
What?
Electricity pylons? Yeah.
No, don't want any of those. Oh, I suppose we could have.
I was thinking of like a telephone wire where it sort of goes.
Right, so if we let's do it from the front then. So if we've got a pole that comes up this side,
Yeah.
it's quite close to us. Now, I'm not exactly sure what an electricity pylon, I mean, a telegraph pole is just a piece of wood, isn't it, really? So I'm just going to...
I would be interested to learn what kind of wood is used.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Oh, yeah, I haven't got a clue. Now I'm going to put some, I don't know what they're called, but some little gubbinsy things on the tops that hold the wires. Right, then I'm going to put another one just here that's going to be obviously smaller.
Oh, they've all got to be going straight up, haven't they? That's what I'm getting wrong here.
They've got to be vertical, yes.
I keep going out to an angle. Is that normal? I don't know.
Apparently, they're made from redwood or Scots pine.
Oh, how interesting.
That must be because they have to be really hardy because they're outside.
Interesting.
Right, so I've drawn
every day, eh?
Yeah. Right, this is going to be hard because you need to do a line that's going to join that one to that one. So what I'm doing now is I'm looking at the one I'm doing and I'm looking at where I've got to go. And I'm going to do the same here. Maybe that one's going to go off into the distance. You've gone very quiet, you lot.
Sorry, miss. I've got my wires sort of going. Oh yeah, you've got yours going down a bit in the middle as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're really taut. Otherwise, they'd. I'm just putting. Look, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just putting a little bit of very light shading on that hill.
Lovely. Okay.
Bit of shading around the bottom of the trees as well.
For the shadows, all the shadows need to go the same direction, don't they?
They do. You could put a little bit of those ones that are in the distance, but you probably wouldn't really see those from that far away.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Now, if we were going to put some birds in,
yeah.
Now what you got to remember about birds is they're going to be so far away. They're going to look almost like a little dot. If they're over here, for example, they're going to be tiny little dots.
Okay.
And try to make them random so they don't all look like, sort of equally spaced. This could be a flock of crows going towards those trees.
And I could have some closer ones as well.
Yeah, now as they get closer, you could make them a bit bigger. And vary the angle
of the wings. Oh yeah.
And so like the closer ones, then they're more like eagles, are they? And the other ones would be like sparrows.
No, these are the same birds. I'm saying they're all crows, Mr. Keeling, but these crows are so far away they look like dots. These crows are getting closer to us, so they're looking a little bit bigger.
Right. Because of perspective.
Oh, Mr. Keeling. Wow.
He's learned something. Well done, Mr. Keeling.
Thank you.
Now, you see this line here? This telephone line. I'm even going to put on here. Look at that.
Could you slide your paper slightly to the right? A little bit more. Oh, I see it. It's a bird on a wire.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so good.
I'm going to do another one. I really like that. It's cute.
That is so cool. Oh, that is so good. Right, I need to do one. Oh, wow.
I'm actually putting a bit more dark down here because I feel that it needs to be a bit darker there.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Sometimes you just have that feeling though, don't you?
Yeah. And you have to go with it. Oh, I know what I need to do. A little bit of a shadow there.
And I suppose that's the good thing with art is you can improvise, can't you? It doesn't have to be exactly the same. And I mean, for example, you've got about 17 birds on your picture, but if somebody else wanted 15 or like 6, that's really up to them.
Yeah, or they could just have one there, one there, and one there. Totally up to them. Do you think we need to put some kind of something in the sky there?
What about a cloud? Oh, it's done.
We could do some clouds. Now, what we could do for this is just if we go with our pencil, and what we're doing is we're not actually shading in the cloud. we're shading in, just putting a bit of light in between the cloud. So this is the white part is the cloud. So what we're actually doing is we're shading in the blue.
Presumably the children could just use blue for this if they've got blue.
If
Or is it
they've
nice
got
to do
blue,
it with
they
a pencil?
could use blue, but if they haven't, I mean, I've got coloured pencils here, but obviously we might not have coloured pencils at home.
No, I don't have any.
So can you see I've got a big billowing cloud there?
Wow. This looks really good. Gosh.
And of course, clouds caused by water evaporating and then cooling as it reaches
Yeah,
a certain height.
It's the evaporation and condensation.
Yeah, and then the water droplets obviously falling as precipitation, ready to rejoin the water cycle.
That's right.
Ooh. Love it. I can't quite get the... your pencil is helping you, I think, with this.
Fine.
It looks really good. I'm blaming my pencil.
No, I'm using pen, Mr. Jordan, pen.
And you're using pen, I know. I just can't... That looks so good. You effortless. It's just practice, though, right, Mrs. Penn? If you're not good right now, that doesn't mean you're just not a good artist, does it?
Oh, no. You have
It's
to
like
remember,
learning...
I'm an old lady. I've been doing this for 40 years.
Well, you're not that old, but that is a long time to have been doing it. Wow. The more you practice, the better you get.
Definitely. Same with anything else. Practice makes perfect.
It's permanent, isn't it? Yeah. Right. And so far, my favourite is those birds just look so great. They look like they're enjoying that beautiful cloud scene.
Yeah, they're flitting about, catching flies in their mouths to take back to their babies in the nests.
Aww. Okay.
Well, I'm going to do something else to mine.
Oh.
Over here, I'm going to put a cow.
Mm.
Now, it may not look like a cow at first, but the way I always think of cows is they're kind of like, they're like a big oblong shape. So I'm just putting in an idea that this could be a cow standing in a field. I'll give it a little bit of a shadow. What do you reckon, or should I rub that out?
No, I love it.
You love it. Right. What else could we put in? Another cow?
It looks pretty good, miss. My worry is whenever I do art, I find that I keep adding and adding and adding, and there comes a point where it starts to not look as good anymore.
Yeah, you have to watch that. I'm probably doing that right now.
Well,
I should have stopped.
No, the cows are good. I like them.
And I suppose the interesting thing about cows is that they have different compartments for their stomachs, don't they? Four,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's 4 different stomachs, isn't it? For
amazing.
The sort of various stages of digestion of grass.
They regurgitate their food, don't they? They sick it back up into their mouth and carry on chewing later.
They do.
Lovely. Brilliant. I love it. Do you want to see what I've done, Mrs. Penn? You probably
Yeah,
won't
all right. I'll turn this round so you can see me and I'll see you.
I must say, yours is beautiful, Mrs. Penn.
It really is good. It really
Okay.
is. Right, this is what I have. Can you see what I produced? Does that look clear?
Let me get my... Oh, that's really good.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Well done.
That's my one.
Come on, Mr. Keane, don't be shy.
Come on, Mr. Keeley.
Everybody's always worried about showing it, but I bet I can find something good about it.
That's
Always
brilliant.
do.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at those clouds.
Oh,
Wow.
these clouds are great.
That
Oh,
is
you nervous
lovely.
cloud. That's
That is
fantastic.
beautiful. Well done, Mr. Keeling.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Did I do art?
You
You
did
did
art.
Thank you very much.
No.
Brilliant. Now, Mrs. Penn.
Thank you, Mrs.
Yes,
Penn.
thank you. And we are going to do another video looking even deeper at perspective. Is that right?
Yeah, I've got another idea. Yeah.
Oh,
I
brilliant.
can't wait for that next
Can't
week.
wait. I
Excellent.
feel like I'm becoming a better artist with every video we do.
Brilliant. That's great. That's the idea.
Right.
Okay.
See you guys.
Bye
Bye.
for now.
Bye.